Before you can rebuild yourself, you must know exactly what you're rebuilding into. No architect ever picks up a hammer without a blueprint. No sculptor begins to carve without first seeing the figure inside the stone. And yet, most people attempt to change their lives without ever defining the person they wish to become. They wander through life reacting to circumstances, imitating others, or clinging to outdated versions of themselves, and then wonder why transformation never comes. Clarity is the starting point of all power. Until you define the new version of you, your efforts will scatter like arrows shot into the wind. Your potential will remain dormant, your strength unfocused. But once you craft a clear image of the person you intend to be, everything within you begins to organize itself around that vision. Your mind, your habits, even the opportunities you attract, they all start moving in the direction of your definition. So ask yourself, with ruthless honesty, who must I become? Not who you think you are, not who others expect you to be, but who you must be to live the life you desire. Describe that version of you in vivid detail. How do they think? How do they walk into a room? How do they respond to adversity? What habits shape their days? What standards do they live by, even when no one is watching? Write it down. Speak it aloud. Carve it into your mind until it is more real than the person you are today. This is not wishful thinking. It is conscious creation. Every great transformation begins as a thought held firmly and consistently in the mind before it ever becomes flesh and bone. But defining the new version of you also requires something far more difficult. You must let go of the old one. You cannot rebuild while clinging to the ruins. Too many people drag their past into their future like a chain, replaying their mistakes, retelling their excuses, defending their limitations. They say, "This is just who I am," and in that moment, they slam the door on who they could become. Understand this truth: you are not your history. You are your decisions. Your past was simply the raw material for the masterpiece you are meant to build. Every mistake taught you something. Every failure carved wisdom into your soul, but none of it defines you unless you choose to carry it forward. To define the new you, begin by releasing every label that no longer serves you. Let go of the names people called you. Release the identities you built to survive a season that has long since ended. A new life demands a new identity, one chosen deliberately, not inherited by default. Once you have your vision, let it guide every choice you make. Ask yourself daily, does this decision bring me closer to that version of me or push me farther away? If the person you want to become is disciplined, then act disciplined, even when you don't feel like it. If they speak with confidence, then practice speaking boldly now. If they lead with kindness and courage, then embody those traits in every interaction. Transformation is not a sudden leap. It is 1,000 small alignments with the future self you have defined. Each decision, each action, each thought becomes a brick in the structure of the new you. Do not worry if the vision seems bigger than you right now. It should be. Growth is meant to stretch you beyond what you currently are. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is not a sign of failure. It is the path you must walk. Every step you take toward that vision reduces the distance. And one day, almost without noticing, you will wake up and realize you are living as the person you once only imagined. And here is the most powerful truth of all. Once you clearly define who you are becoming, life begins to rearrange itself around that decision. The right people appear. The right opportunities emerge. The right doors open. It is not magic. It is alignment. The universe responds to a mind that knows what it wants. So today, draw a line in the sand and declare the old you finished. Refuse to be imprisoned by outdated versions of yourself. Build a new blueprint with precision and purpose. Hold that image in your mind so clearly that it becomes a command your entire being must obey. You are not here to repeat yesterday. You are here to design tomorrow. And tomorrow belongs to the person you decide to become, not the one you were told you had to be. Define that person now, and you will have taken the first and most crucial step in rebuilding yourself into the masterpiece you were always meant to be. There is a pivotal moment in every transformation, a moment when you must decide whether you will merely wish for change or truly commit to it. That moment is marked by one powerful act burning the bridges behind you. To rebuild yourself, you cannot leave a path back to the old version of you. You cannot declare a new destiny while keeping a safety net for failure. As long as you leave an escape route open, your mind will always retreat to the comfort of the familiar when the journey becomes difficult. And it will become difficult. That is the nature of transformation. The difference between those who talk about change and those who become change is simply the latter destroy every route back to the person they used to be. They commit so completely that retreat is no longer an option. History remembers countless individuals who achieved greatness because they burned their bridges. Warriors who destroyed their ships so their only path was forward. Leaders who walked away from comfort so they could rise into power. Builders who bet everything on their vision. They understood a timeless truth: when there is no way back, the only direction left is forward. This is not a reckless leap. It is an act of unwavering faith in your own potential. It's the moment you say, "I will not go back. I cannot go back. My past is behind me, and my future demands everything I have." That level of commitment changes the way you think, the way you act, and the way you fight for your new life. Ask yourself what bridges still connect you to the person you're trying to leave behind. Are you clinging to toxic relationships because they're familiar, even though they drain your strength? Are you holding on to old habits, telling yourself you'll quit someday? A day that never comes. Are you keeping a backup plan of just in case, escape, because deep down you fear you might fail? Those bridges feel safe, but they are chains disguised as comfort. They keep you tied to the life you are trying to outgrow. And every moment you keep them intact, you divide your focus and weaken your resolve. Rebuilding yourself requires total commitment, and total commitment means removing every path back to the old you. Burning bridges is not always dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, but firm, deleting the number that always pulls you back, throwing away the habits that sabotage your progress, walking away from environments that no longer match your vision. It is the decision to stop negotiating with your excuses and start demanding more from yourself. When you burn your bridges, something extraordinary happens. Your potential awakens. The human spirit is capable of astonishing strength when it has no choice but to succeed. The fear that once held you back becomes fuel. The obstacles that once defeated you become stepping stones. Your mind, once divided, becomes singular and unstoppable. But understand this: burning bridges does not mean acting without wisdom. It does not mean abandoning responsibility or making impulsive choices. It means making a conscious decision that the old version of you is no longer welcome in your future. It means choosing discomfort over regret, growth over safety, destiny over doubt. And yes, it will test you. There will be nights when you question whether you made the right choice. There will be moments when the old life calls your name, offering you ease in exchange for your potential. But every time you resist that call, you grow stronger. Every time you take another step forward with no way back, the new you becomes more real, more powerful, more permanent. One of the greatest tragedies of life is not failure. It is living in the shadow of who you could have been because you never had the courage to burn the bridges that held you back. Most people never rebuild themselves because they always keep one foot in the past. They tell themselves they're moving forward, but they're still facing backward. Do not be one of them. Make your decision final. Tell your old life, you no longer have power here. And then act in a way that leaves no room for retreat. Burn the bridges of doubt. Burn the bridges of laziness. Burn the bridges of fear and excuses. Turn your back on the person you used to be and walk boldly into the person you are becoming. Because the truth is this: when you have no way back, you will find a way forward. When you remove the option of surrender, you discover the strength to conquer. And when you destroy the bridges that lead to your past, you open the gates to a future beyond your imagination. So let today be the day you make a promise to yourself. Not a promise you might keep, but one that cannot be broken. The past is gone. The old you is finished. Burn every bridge that leads you back to who you were and walk fearlessly toward who you are destined to become. If vision is the blueprint and burning your bridges is the commitment, then discipline is the engine that drives the entire process of rebuilding yourself. Without discipline, even the clearest vision remains a dream. Without discipline, even the strongest desire dissolves into excuses. It is discipline, quiet, consistent, relentless discipline, that transforms intentions into reality and turns ordinary individuals into forces of greatness. Discipline is the master key to self-mastery. It is the invisible bridge between who you are now and who you are determined to become. And yet, most people underestimate its power. They search for motivation, chase inspiration, wait for the perfect moment. But discipline does not wait. Discipline acts whether the feelings are there or not. Motivation is fickle. Discipline is loyal. Motivation is the spark. Discipline is the fire that never dies. The truth is simple but often ignored. You will never rebuild yourself if you only work on the days you feel like it. The new version of you demands consistency. It demands action even when it's boring, even when it's uncomfortable, even when no one is watching. The champions of life are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who refuse to stop showing up. Think of discipline as a muscle. At first, it trembles under the smallest weight. Waking up early feels impossible. Sticking to a plan feels like a battle. But each time you follow through, each time you act despite resistance, that muscle grows stronger. And with strength comes freedom. Eventually, what once felt difficult becomes effortless. What once required willpower becomes habit. Discipline, when trained, becomes your nature. But to master discipline, you must first master yourself. And that begins with making and keeping promises to yourself. Every time you set a goal and follow through, you build trust with yourself. And that trust becomes the foundation for greater discipline. Conversely, every broken promise, every "I'll start tomorrow" that never comes, weakens that trust and reinforces the identity of someone who cannot depend on themselves. Rebuilding yourself requires the opposite. You must become someone whose word is law, especially to yourself. Start small. Do what you say you will do, no matter how insignificant it seems. If you promise to read for 10 minutes, do it. If you commit to exercising, do it. If you set a time to wake up, rise without negotiation. These small acts of discipline may look trivial, but they are the bricks from which strength and self-respect are built. And here's the hidden beauty of discipline: it compounds. A single act of self-control makes the next one easier. A single disciplined habit creates space for others to grow. Soon, your life begins to shift, not from one grand decision, but from 1,000 small victories stacked on top of each other. Yet, you must be prepared. Discipline is not always glamorous. It is often repetitive. It can feel lonely. It demands sacrifice, the sacrifice of comfort, distraction, and instant gratification. But those who embrace it understand something profound. Temporary discomfort is a small price for permanent strength. Most people lose the battle of transformation not because they lack ability, but because they quit when it stops being easy. They expect progress to be exciting every day. It is not. Real progress is built in the quiet moments when no one is clapping, when the results haven't shown yet, and when the only thing keeping you moving forward is the promise you made to yourself. And yet, those are the moments that shape you. Every repetition when you want to quit builds resilience. Every disciplined choice in the dark makes you unstoppable in the light. Every sacrifice sharpens your focus and strengthens your will. Discipline is not punishment. It is preparation. It prepares you for the weight of the life you're building. Do not fear discipline. Embrace it. Make it your companion, not your enemy. Let it guide your days, structure your time, and protect your focus. Because once discipline takes root, you no longer need to force yourself. You simply are the kind of person who does what must be done. And here lies the greatest reward of mastering discipline: freedom. Freedom from the chains of procrastination. freedom from the tyranny of moods, freedom from the prison of someday. Discipline is not restriction. It is the power to build the life you choose rather than the life your impulses dictate. So commit yourself to discipline as if your future depends on it, because it does. Do not wait for the perfect conditions. Do not wait for inspiration to strike. Begin now with what you have where you are. Build the muscle. Keep the promises. Do the work even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. For when you master discipline, you master yourself. And when you master yourself, there is no dream too distant, no goal too great, and no version of you beyond reach. A discipline is the hammer and chisel with which you carve the masterpiece of your new life. Use it daily, and watch the person you were always meant to be emerge from within. Every journey of transformation encounters resistance. Every attempt to rebuild yourself is tested. Life, in its mysterious wisdom, will place obstacles in your path: heartbreak, disappointment, betrayal, failure, rejection, and loss. Most people interpret these as signs to stop, as proof that they are not worthy or capable. But those who rise, those who truly rebuild themselves into greatness, understand a deeper truth: pain is not your enemy. It is your greatest source of power. Pain is the raw material from which strength is forged. It is the fire that tempers the steel of your character. And though it may burn, though it may break you open, it also builds within you a resilience no comfort could ever teach. The people who reach the highest peaks are not those who never suffered. They are those who learned how to turn suffering into strength. The first step is to change the way you see pain. Most people run from it, numb it, or curse it. But pain is a messenger. It is life's way of pointing you toward what must change. It is not punishment. It is preparation. The weight you feel on your shoulders is the same weight that will build your strength if you choose to carry it. The darkness you walk through is the same darkness that will reveal your light if you refuse to stop moving. Think of the seed buried beneath the soil. In the darkness, it feels the crushing pressure of the earth above. But that pressure is not there to destroy it. It is there to push it toward the surface, to guide it upward toward the sun. Your pain is no different. It is pushing you toward your purpose, if only you will stop resisting and start listening. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? What strength is it trying to awaken in me? Every wound carries wisdom. Every failure holds a lesson. Every heartbreak reveals a deeper capacity for love, patience, or perseverance. The pain that once made you question your worth can become the very proof of your strength, if you choose to learn from it instead of running from it. But transformation requires more than understanding. It requires action. You must deliberately convert your pain into power. Use rejection as fuel to sharpen your skills and prove your value. Use failure as a lesson to refine your approach and rise stronger. Use betrayal as motivation to build a life so full and independent that no one can ever break you again. Pain is energy, and energy, when directed with purpose, becomes unstoppable force. History is written by those who did not let pain define them, but instead allowed it to refine them. They did not let setbacks harden their hearts. They let them sharpen their vision. They did not allow defeat to end their journey. They used it as the reason to fight harder. You are no different. Your story, too, can be one of strength born from struggle, but only if you choose to use what hurt you as fuel for what will build you. Understand this truth: the version of you that you dream of becoming, stronger, wiser, unshakable, cannot be built in ease. Ease does not stretch you. Comfort does not challenge you. Growth lives where struggle begins. The weight of pain you carry today is not a burden meant to crush you. It is a tool meant to forge you. And the heavier it feels, the more powerful the person you are becoming. There will be moments when the pain feels unbearable, when quitting seems easier than continuing. But in those moments, remind yourself this is not the end. This is the beginning. This is the part of your story where strength is born. This is the chapter where you build endurance, courage, and resilience that will carry you through every storm ahead. And one day, sooner than you think, You will look back on what once broke you and realize it built you. The betrayal that shattered your trust taught you to trust yourself. The failure that humiliated you taught you perseverance. The rejection that stung taught you self-worth. What once felt like punishment will reveal itself as preparation. So do not curse your pain. Do not flee from it. Use it. Turn every ounce of it into fuel. Let it drive you further than motivation ever could. Let it ignite a fire within you that no setback can extinguish. Because when pain stops being something you fear and becomes something you harness, nothing, absolutely nothing, can stand in your way. Your pain is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal that you are being forged into someone stronger than you were yesterday. Embrace it, learn from it, transform it, and then use it as the unstoppable fuel that powers the rise of the new you. No matter how strong, disciplined, or determined you are, you will never rebuild yourself in isolation. Human beings are not meant to grow alone. The people you allow into your life, their beliefs, their energy, their standards, shape the very foundation of who you become. And this is why one of the most critical steps in rebuilding yourself is learning to surround yourself with builders, not breakers. A builder is someone who lifts you higher. They challenge your excuses, celebrate your progress, and remind you of your potential when you forget it yourself. They believe in the future version of you, sometimes even before you believe in it. Builders do not compete with you. They collaborate. They do not drain your spirit. They inspire it. When you are around them, you think bigger, aim higher, and act bolder. A breaker, on the other hand, is very different. Breakers drain your energy with negativity. They discourage your dreams with doubt disguised as advice. They keep you anchored to who you were because your growth threatens their comfort. Breakers thrive on gossip, envy, and mediocrity, and they will gladly pull you back into their smallness if you allow them. Here is a timeless truth. The environment you choose will either build your future or bury it. You cannot rise while surrounding yourself with those who are committed to staying low. You cannot think like a builder while listening daily to the language of the broken. And you cannot create a new version of yourself while keeping company with those who benefit from the old one. Look around you. Who are you spending your time with? Do they push you to evolve or pull you back into patterns you're trying to escape? Do they hold you accountable to your highest standard or enable your weakest habits? This is not about judging others. It is about protecting your destiny, because the truth is your environment is stronger than your willpower. And no matter how powerful your vision is, if you place it in toxic soil, it will wither. Choosing builders is not just about people who cheer for you. It's about people who challenge you. True builders don't flatter your ego. They stretch your potential. They tell you the truth even when it's uncomfortable. They hold a mirror to your weaknesses and demand that you rise above them. This kind of honesty is rare, but it is essential for growth. Seek out those who push you to be better, not those who are content watching you stay the same. But surrounding yourself with builders is only part of the equation. You must also become a builder yourself. Be the kind of person who adds value, not one who drains it. Speak words that inspire, not ones that destroy. Celebrate others' victories and help them climb their own mountains. As you grow into this role, you'll naturally attract others who share that same energy. And together, you'll form an environment where growth is not only possible, but inevitable. And sometimes, building this environment means making difficult choices. It means walking away from relationships that no longer align with your vision. It means creating distance from those who refuse to grow, even if they once felt close. This is one of the hardest parts of transformation, but it is also one of the most necessary. You cannot heal in the same environment that hurt you. You cannot rise in a circle that resents your ascent. Do not fear this separation. It does not mean you no longer care for those people. It simply means you care about your future more. You are not abandoning them. You are choosing to lead by example. And perhaps one day your transformation will inspire them to transform too. But you cannot sacrifice your growth to keep others comfortable. Your destiny is too important for that. Remember, iron sharpens iron. Greatness does not grow in isolation. It is forged in the company of other great minds. When you surround yourself with people who dream bigger than you, think deeper than you, and work harder than you, their energy becomes contagious. Your standards rise. Your limits expand. You become more than you ever thought possible. So make a conscious choice. Curate your circle with intention. Seek out mentors who have walked the path you aspire to travel. Align with peers who are striving toward greatness. And protect your space from those who choose to live small. Every conversation, every interaction, every influence either builds you or breaks you. There is no neutral ground. Your future self is waiting to meet you, but they cannot appear in an environment poisoned by negativity, doubt, and fear. They are built in a circle of belief, discipline, and relentless growth. Choose wisely. Surround yourself with builders, and watch as their strength becomes your strength, their courage becomes your courage, and their vision becomes the wind beneath your wings. In their company, you will not only rebuild yourself, you will rise beyond anything you once thought possible. Every transformation begins in the same place, the mind. Before your habits changed, before your results shift, before your life transforms, your thoughts must evolve. The mind is the command center of your destiny. It is the soil from which every action, decision, and outcome grows. If you wish to rebuild yourself, you must first rebuild your thinking. You must feed your mind with power. Here's a truth most people overlook. Your mind is being fed every single day, whether you choose it or not. Every conversation, every piece of media you consume, every environment you place yourself in, all of it becomes food for your thoughts. And those thoughts shape your beliefs. Your beliefs shape your actions, and your actions shape your life. If your mind is constantly fed with fear, doubt, and limitation, how can you possibly expect your life to overflow with confidence, courage, and possibility? You cannot plant weeds and expect a garden. You cannot consume weakness and expect strength. And you cannot feed your mind poison and expect it to produce power. What you feed your mind is not a small detail. It is the difference between mediocrity and mastery. So ask yourself, what are you allowing into your mind? Are you surrounding yourself with ideas that lift you or with noise that drains you? Are you reading books that expand your thinking or scrolling endlessly through distractions that shrink it? Are you listening to voices that challenge your limits or to ones that reinforce them? If you wish to rebuild yourself, you must become intentional about the thoughts you allow to take root. You must treat your mind as sacred ground and guard it fiercely. Start with what you read and listen to. Knowledge is fuel for transformation. Feed your mind daily with ideas that stretch your perspective and sharpen your understanding. Read books that teach you how to think, not just what to think. Study the lives of those who built greatness from nothing. Listen to speeches, conversations, and teachings that ignite your will and strengthen your resolve. The more powerful the input, the more powerful the output. But it doesn't stop there. You must also monitor the words you speak, because they too feed your mind. Every word you speak is a command to your subconscious. When you say, "I can't," your mind believes it and closes the door. When you say, "I will," your mind begins searching for ways to make it true. Speak words of strength, not weakness. Declare your potential daily. Affirm the future version of yourself until your mind accepts it as reality. And be ruthless about eliminating mental junk. Just as you would never allow garbage into your body and expect health, you must stop allowing garbage into your mind and expecting growth. Gossip, negativity, endless complaining. These are toxins that pollute your thinking and corrode your potential. Distance yourself from them without apology. Your mind is too valuable to be cluttered with poison. Remember, your mind becomes what it is repeatedly exposed to. If you fill it with limitation, you will think small, act small, and live small. But if you fill it with greatness, with stories of resilience, ideas of abundance, principles of success, your thinking will expand. And as your thinking expands, so will your life. There is another secret here. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined. When you repeatedly visualize the life you want, when you see yourself acting, speaking, and living as the person you intend to become, your mind begins to treat that image as truth. It starts to align your thoughts, habits, and decisions with that vision. This is not fantasy. It is mental conditioning. It is the same method used by world-class athletes, visionaries, and leaders to turn distant dreams into undeniable reality. So feed your mind not only with knowledge, but with vision. Every morning, picture the person you are building. See them clearly. Feel their confidence, their discipline, their strength. The more real that image becomes in your mind, the more inevitable it becomes in your life. But understand this, feeding your mind with power is not a one-time act. It is a daily discipline. Just as your body needs food every day to stay strong, your mind needs nourishment every day to stay sharp. Make it a habit, a ritual, a non-negotiable part of your life, because the strength of your mind will determine the height of your life. And here lies the greatest truth of all. You are not limited by your past. You are limited by your thinking. Expand your thinking, and you expand your world. Strengthen your thinking, and you strengthen your will. Purify your thinking, and you purify your path. So from this day forward, guard your mind as fiercely as a king guards his throne. Feed it with truth, wisdom, courage, and vision. Refuse to allow weakness a single inch of space. Because the person you are becoming, the powerful, unshakable, unstoppable version of you, is built first and foremost in the quiet workshop of your mind. Feed your mind with power, and your life will follow. Rebuilding yourself is not a moment. It is a journey. It is not a single act of courage, but 1,000 quiet battles fought day after day. And if there is one principle that separates those who merely wish for transformation from those who become transformed, it is this persistence. Persistence is the heartbeat of every great achievement. It is the invisible force that carries you through doubt, disappointment, and delay. It is the stubborn refusal to stop, even when the path is unclear, even when the results are invisible, even when every voice around you tells you to give up. Persistence is the bridge between the person you are and the person you are becoming. Most people quit too soon. They plant a seed and demand a harvest the next morning. When the results don't come quickly, they convince themselves they're not meant for greatness. They let frustration and impatience sabotage what could have been extraordinary. But those who understand the nature of growth know this: every transformation is born in the unseen. The roots grow long before the tree breaks the surface. The foundation is laid long before the building touches the sky. And the new you is being formed long before the world ever sees it. When you persist, even without evidence of success, you are building strength. Every repetition, every act of discipline, every decision to keep going is like laying another brick in the structure of your future self. Most of these bricks are invisible to the world, but they are essential. Without them, the masterpiece cannot stand. And yes, the journey will test you. There will be days when the weight of change feels unbearable. Days when you question if any of it is worth it. Days when the old you tries to drag you back with whispers of comfort and ease. But these are not signs of failure. They are signs that transformation is happening. The struggle is not a barrier, it is the process itself. And those who persist through the struggle emerge on the other side unrecognizable, stronger, wiser, and unstoppable. Consider this truth: the caterpillar does not transform into a butterfly by choice alone. It must endure the dark, confined struggle of the cocoon. If you were to cut the cocoon open too early, thinking you were helping, the butterfly would die, because the struggle is what strengthens its wings. Your persistence is that same struggle. It is shaping you for the life you're building. It is strengthening you for the weight of the success you desire. Without it, you would not be ready for the destiny waiting for you. But persistence is not just about endurance. It is about faith. It is the unshakable belief that your efforts matter, even when the results haven't appeared yet. It is the decision to keep watering the seed, even when the soil looks barren. It is trusting that the small, consistent steps you take today are creating a future far greater than you can yet see. To cultivate persistence, you must shift your focus from speed to direction. Stop obsessing over how fast progress is happening and focus instead on whether you are still moving forward. Even the smallest step, taken consistently, will eventually cover any distance. Remember, it is not the one who sprints the fastest who wins. It is the one who refuses to stop running. And you must also guard your mind against the greatest enemy of persistence, discouragement. Discouragement will whisper that you're wasting your time. It will point to others moving faster and try to convince you to quit. But discouragement is a liar. It sees only the present, never the future. It cannot see the transformation that is happening beneath the surface. When it speaks, silence it with action. Every time you take one more step, you weaken its grip and strengthen your resolve. Here's a truth worth engraving into your soul: breakthrough always hides behind resistance. Most people quit at the very edge of transformation, not because they lacked potential, but because they lacked persistence. Do not make that mistake. When the resistance feels strongest, that is often the sign you are closest to breaking through. And one day, if you persist, something extraordinary will happen. The new you will emerge. You will wake up and realize that the habits that once felt impossible are now your nature. The discipline you once had to force is now effortless. The strength you once prayed for now lives within you. You will look back on the journey and understand that every setback, every delay, every moment you wanted to give up was necessary. They were the chisels that carved you into who you are now. So, promise yourself this: you will not stop. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how many times you stumble, you will persist. Because the person you are meant to be is not found in a single victory. They are forged in the fire of relentless perseverance. Persist until the old you no longer exists. Persist until your actions reflect your vision. Persist until the new you is not just a dream, but a living reality. Because the moment you refuse to quit is the moment nothing, not failure, not fear, not time, can stop you. And when that day comes, when the new you finally steps into the light, you will know you did not just rebuild your life. You rebuilt yourself.